Alright, I just want to take a moment and highlight some things that you might need to do if you're using a physical Android device for your penetration testing. The first thing you're going to want to do for your physical device is enable the developer options. And how you can do that is you can just go to the settings like this, and you're going to scroll all the way down to the bottom. Now in my case, I'm using an emulator just because it's easier to show, but the exact same setup instructions are going to work for a physical device as well. So in my case, this says about emulated device, but in your case, this will probably say something like about phone, or also sometimes this developer options can be found like directly under system here, and you can see the different types of Android build version. So what you're looking for is like here for about an emulated device. I'm going to click in there. I'm going to scroll to the bottom, and you want to find this build number. This is your Android build number. Sometimes it will be under a category such as software version or version information, something like that. And in this case, also on this phone in particular, under Android version here, you can also find the build number there. So there's usually a few different ways how you can get here depending on the phone manufacturer and device itself. So what I'm going to do to enable developer mode is I'm going to click this build number about 9 times. So you can see here it's saying like you're now 4 steps away from being a developer. And as soon as you get developer options enabled, you'll get this little "you are now a developer" pop-up. And now I'm going to go back, and on a lot of physical devices, that developer mode will pop up here on the main settings screen. But in the case of this emulator, it happens to come up under System and then Advanced. So it might be in one of those two places depending on how the phone works. So here is developer options. And the important thing to enable in the developer options for a physical Android phone is to scroll down until you see this USB debugging. You're going to click that, you're going to click OK, and now you should be able to plug your Android phone into your main computer, whatever you're using, like a laptop or a desktop. Trust that device when the pop-up comes up to ask if this device is trusted. And then at that point, if you have all the other tools installed, you should be able to do an ADB shell here and get into your physical device. Some other nice settings in developer mode here, for example, one that I like to use is this stay awake feature. So if I'm going between like my main computer and my physical device, I don't want it to go to sleep in between, so I don't have to keep on entering my passcode or keep on using the fingerprint sensor, right? You can just toggle this stay awake feature on, and then when your phone is charging or connected to your laptop or desktop, then it will stay awake and not turn off while you're doing things in between. It's very useful for me as a penetration tester because I'll be doing things in Burp Suite like repeating requests and stuff like that, and I don't want my phone to turn off in the meantime so I don't lose my my progress with the application I'm testing. You can obviously scroll through these developer settings. There's tons of different settings that you can enable and disable here, such as here, lock screen when trust is lost. So if it's connected to a new device that we don't trust, the lock screen will come up if you enable that setting. So just tons of different settings you can look at in here. You can also select a specific application for debugging, and this can be useful for you if the application is set for debug equals true. You can also do things like verifying the app over USB, so you can install different applications over USB. On this phone, there is no option here for enabling additional applications, but usually there is under developer options where you can just toggle a toggle switch on, and it will allow you to trust untrusted applications, right? So I definitely recommend that you take a look if you're using a physical device to go through all of these options and just, try out different ones for what you might need. An interesting one here is like disabling absolute volume here. So if you're testing things for an application as a developer, you can have some additional volume settings. So there's all kinds of interesting settings out here. Definitely recommend that you take a look. And those are kind of the ones I use to just stay awake, keep the phone awake, and also you have to have the USB debugging enabled to allow yourself to access the phone via ADB.